Hi, this is I'll explain. This time I'll explain the Gelgoog High Maneuverability Type. Gelgoog High Maneuverability Type, model number MS-14B, is a Gelgoog with improved maneuverability. Now you may be wondering, this looks just like a regular Gelgoog, and you'll be right, because the MS-14B is just the MS-14A with a backpack. While this is a G-frame, you can still see the resemblance of the backpack to that of Gelgoog cannon. That is because the high maneuverability backpack is developed together with the cannon backpack. While Gelgoog cannon is developed as a backup plan for the deployment of beam weapon equipped mobile suit, the high maneuverability type is developed more or less because Zaku 2 has high maneuverability type. So the demand for its successor, the Gelgoog High Maneuverability Type, will be required at some point in the future. That future comes a lot sooner than Zeong engineers may have expected. Solomon had fallen despite being guarded by Big Sam and their commander of Space Strike Force, General Dolas Sabi. In order to maximize the effectiveness of their force, Zeong had given all Gelgoog to ace pilots and commanding officers first. And for those who dare to go behind enemy lines to raid or ambush Federation supply lines or way stations, the Gelgoog High Maneuverability Type. In space, there is little to no air resistance to speak of, so Gelgoog High Maneuverability Type can use its extra thrust and fuel to accelerate to very high speed in friendly space, then rely on inertia to infiltrate no man's space or enemy space. To an unmanned sentry or wide-angle surveillance sweep, they would just like many debris of war passing by. Although to avoid suspicion, Gelgoog High Maneuverability Type would have been deployed hours or even days before the potential target arrives, or sometimes they would be sent to watch over potential advanced routes. Zeong also sent out supply cache in hollow asteroids or large debris for those waiting in ambush, or those who are so successful that they don't need to retreat for the time being, again with inertia. Once the potential target came into range, the Gelgoog High Maneuverability Type would engage with extremely high speed, hopefully to overwhelm its target before they can signal for help. Although with Federation force surrounding Abaoku and Psi-3, it was very unlikely. Luckily, the increased mobility and maneuverability means Gelgoog High Maneuverability Type could get away before trouble comes, or from most Federation mobile suits if they did show up. Now let's take a closer look and check out this MS-14B. The head is basically the same as standard Gelgoog, the Type A, although being developed alongside with Gelgoog cannon means Gelgoog High Maneuverability Type have higher cross-compatibility compared to those Type A or Type S that were upgraded from the pre-production type, like Charles. It is possible to put on the commander module and blade antenna, like standard Gelgoog, but most pilots opt to leave it out because it is generally not used for raids and ambushes. The torso, skirts, and legs are the same as standard Gelgoog. The arms are mostly the same, and like standard Gelgoog, the shoulder thrusters are non-standard. You may see them on some examples and not on others. You may wonder why isn't it standard practice for high maneuverability type to have shoulder thrusters. 1. Zeong was on its last leg, so keeping everything neat and tidy wasn't top priority, and 2. More importantly, more thrusters meant more weight and more fuel to be burned. Given how Gelgoog already had plenty enough thrust to begin with, and the backpack provides even more, the thrusters on the side of the shoulder pad isn't necessary. Not to mention Gelgoog already has arm thrusters. Those are a lot more maneuverable compared to the shoulder ones. The backpack is what distinguishes Gelgoog high maneuverability type from standard Gelgoog, or rather having a backpack at all. While often depicted as space-only mobile suit, there's nothing that makes Type B less effective than standard Type A on Earth, since the backpack is fitted with common fusion thermal rocket thrusters and added less than 5% overall weight, while providing more than extra 10% of thrust. For those who know about Gelgoog 2 high maneuverability type, this backpack would look very familiar, since this backpack is also developed by Zimat. The essential plan is for dumping coolant, in case regular circulation cannot dissipate heat build-up soon enough. Since the high maneuverability type is intended for intensive dogfights where thrusters can be operating at maximum output for extended time during operation, this function can also be used to provide thrust and well utilized by veteran or ace pilots. The cylinders on either side are propellant cartridges, for ease of resupply, where Gelgoog can replace them by itself in more calm places, like those supply caches we have mentioned. The slots below them are weapon hangers, although they are supposed to be clamps. Like other weapons hanger on the Gelgoog, they do not have a charging port. Next to the weapon hangers are a series of RPG motors for side-to-side movement. This is the Gelgoog high maneuverability type, so it has more than just high speed and acceleration. The thrusters are supposed to be movable like those on Gelgoog cannon, but this is a G-frame, so they are fixed. You will note that leaves nowhere for the shield and beam naginata clamp to go. The shield is often fixed on hardpoint on the forearm with the beam naginata holster on the back of the shield, although sometimes you may see the back skirt holster for the beam naginata on Gelgoog high maneuverability type. But that's not the case for this G-frame. In fact, this G-frame doesn't even come with a beam naginata, so just pretend it's holstered somewhere. While we are at it, let's talk about Gelgoog high maneuverability type's arsenal, or what this set of G-frame comes with: a rocket launcher, a prototype beam rifle, and a shield. The shield is the same as standard Type A's and will pretend the beam naginata is hosted on its back. The rocket launcher is sometimes called Bull Bazooka. It is because it is the shortened version of the giant bazooka. It was developed in case the manufacturing of beam rifles for Gelgoog didn't pan out, similar to the Gelgoog cannon's backpack. Except in this case it was deployed as it was intended, since Zeong was scrambling to reorganize their forces to defend Abaku, the circulation of beam rifles fall to the wayside. Not to mention Zeong had just begun ECAP manufacturing, making them removable for resupply on the field would be a tall order. Thus, Gelgoog high maneuverability type would carry rocket launchers for their raids and ambush because it allowed them to resupply on the field with supply cache. In addition, since most of their targets are supply ships or occasional space cruisers, the rocket launcher is a lot more suitable to deal maximum damage. The prototype beam rifle, like its name suggested, is the prototype of beam rifle that Gelgoog would eventually use. As you can see, it is much larger than the former Gelgoog beam rifle, and that is because Zeong at the time had yet to figure out the optimum balance between output, range, and rate of fire for their beam rifle. Zeong was desperately trying to match or overmatch the Federation's or Gundam's beam rifle, so they start with something slightly less awkward than their beam bazooka. And the beam bazooka was Zeong's only portable mobile suit beam weapon, so starting from an established platform is also a practical choice. Since the biggest advantage that beam weapons have over conventional firearms is their projectile speed, Zeong also envisioned the prototype beam rifle to work like a sniper rifle, hence the very substantial optic. The long gun barrels ensure the beam bolt is well accelerated and concentrated. Both help making prototype beam rifle accurate over long distance. The E-cap is also very large compared to Federation's or former Gelgoog beam rifles, and its recharge is much slower than those, as Xeon was still trying to figure out how E-cap works. There are some benefits though, as the large E-cap allowed the prototype beam rifle to shoot much larger beam bolts than the former model, giving it enough power to penetrate space battleship all the way through with a well-placed shot. The handguard you see over the barrel is actually a sleeve for the cooling system, and you can see a tube running into the coolant reservoir inside the stock. Since this is a prototype, it was designed to be used in space only. However, it is known that some of them have been modified with an improved cooling system to be used on Earth as a sniper rifle by Xeon remnants. Given prototype beam rifle's substantial optic, long effective range and high output, it was used by Gelgoog High Maneuverability Type as a sniper rifle, while the majority of pilots would replace them with regular Gelgoog beam rifles when they were available for the more balanced performance and superior in close-range mobile suit combat. Some pilots decide to keep using the prototype beam rifle because they are more effective as snipers or designated marksmen. Gelgoog High Maneuverability Type was deployed by principle of Xeon at the very end of 1 Year War, primarily for raids and ambushes. However, there were some daredevils who would engage Federation mobile suit teams, and they often come out on top thanks to Gelgoog High Maneuverability Type's maneuverability, and them being better pilots than typical Federation mobile suit pilots at the time. Gelgoog High Maneuverability Type also joins the subsequent Battle of Abu Akul, where they fought as fast response teams, although they were often teams of one because other Xeon mobile suits would have a hard time keeping up with the MS-14B speed. And Xeon was still terribly outnumbered despite the Federation fleet took a direct hit from the solar ray. Gelgoog High Maneuverability Type also received further development from Xeon even when the end draws near. And the result is Gelgoog High Maneuverability Type R or Gelgoog BR, the true successor of Zaku 2R. Axis, the Xeon Space Fortress and its garrison, who would become a major faction of New Xeon, would also continue to develop the MS-14B, which eventually became the MS-14J Gelgoog or Gelgoog. Anaheim Electronics would further develop Gelgoog into Gelgoog Vertex, MS-14J/BR. Xeon remnants who have their hands on Gelgoog High Maneuverability Type would also hold on to them and modernize them the best they could. Like Gelgoog, thanks to its generous internal volume and highly modularized design, Gelgoog High Maneuverability Type can be modernized to match the latest standard mobile suits performance. They can also be seen being deployed by space colony militias and pirates, used very much like they were in the 1 Year War. Thanks for watching.